Alright, so per our production meeting, we decided to do the first stop in a vise, and then I have a large block of stock, and then we're going to do the second op in a fixture. So we need to start designing up our fixture, and I want to use these fixture clamps. So I'm going to come scroll down, and I like the looks of these ones. I'm going to get a quick reference dimension. I can see that the length is, so going back to our part, I want to analyze the length of this leg, get 1 1/8. So we got roughly 2 1/8, and I'm going to make this 2.5 inches above those pads. So I'm going to set my Z depth. So I'm going to come from here and add 2.5 inches. I'm going to go to 2D, and I'm going to start drawing the shape of our fixture. So we'll go to wireframe, rectangle, I'll anchor it to center, and the part's on center, so I'm going to base it off the origin. Awesome. Now I have the quick change blocks metric, so I just kind of rounded up. So I'm going to make this 13.5, and let me look at my paperwork to get the other dimension, and that's going to be 6.35. So we'll come around. It pretty much encapsulates the whole part, so I'm good with that. Alright. Should have done this right before. I'm going to create a level so we can keep this all organized. Call this one fixture. I'll grab my wireframe, I'll move it to the new level. And what I want to do next is call it an impression. So it will use the shape, and then I'm selecting the solid faces I want it to go down to, and voila, we have our fixture base. So we got nice little pockets for the pads of the legs, and everything looks pretty good. The only thing I need to do is I need to remove those little posts. So go to model prep, and we'll start moving those out. And those are gone. So awesome. Now before I get too far, I'm going to save this in my folder. And we'll call this one Op 2 Fixture. Never said I was a speed demon on a keyboard. Alright, so we got this one saved. Now we need to start adding the cutouts for the fixture clamps. So what I'm going to do is, while we're looking at, we have all these dimensions and then the installation instructions. I'm going to use the 28320. You can get your CAD models from the website. I'm not going to let this preview. I've already downloaded and brought them in. So I already have my solid models. And what's next? So we got to look at our installation. So these are the cutouts we need to add to the fixture plate. I'm going to create a new fixture and just start drawing up a DXF of 1, and then we can just merge that into the fixture. So first thing first, the body is 25 millimeter. So we'll start off simple, create a circle, and we'll do 25, and I'll add a little bit I have no circle. It probably helps if I put the right unit in. So I'm going to type in mm, it'll convert it to inch for me. So we have our main body hole. So we need to do the I value. So 30 millimeter is going to be for the flange. So we have that diameter. And then looking back, I'm looking for the flat dimension. Not quite seeing it right here. Blend radius, we'll add that in a sec. Not seeing anything. Oh, it's the depth. So we'll keep looking. Give me a sec here, I'll find it, I promise. So I'm just going to use this D value that they have and maybe give it a little extra room. And that is 24.9. So we'll do a line vertical. Just draw it off here. And I'm going to do, like I said, I want to give it a little bit of room to play. So we'll say 25.2 divided by 2. And then I will add the mm, and it'll convert that down, place it where I want. I'm going to create another vertical. I'll recycle my number and make that negative. So we have our flats. Using my handy dandy dynamic trim, and oops, went over it, closed it. Alright, come from this way. There we go. Clean it up. One more. We now have our flats. Got a little clearance. I'm happy. What's next? So we're gonna come. Got a little more prep. There's going to be a 6.5 millimeter radius. So I'm going to do fillet chains. We'll do 6.5 mm. And before I close out this, I'm going to just shrink this up just a hair, just to make sure we have some clearance. Awesome. Just bring that to a quarter. Next, what do we got? I need to add our hold down hole. So where are we clamping down or sucking it down? And so we can do M6, and that needs to be quarter 20 and 6 millimeters off center. So I'll do shift click, drag that up 6 mm, enter to set the position, enter to set the value, and we'll type 0.201 for my quarter 20 hole. Awesome. So now we got that drawn up. We can save this off as a DXF and then start bringing it into our fixture. So I'll do save as, find my folder, and that's somewhere in here, and we'll go up to fixture, and looks like I've done this one before, so I'll just select that name and give it a number for a rev. Great. So we have our DXF. Now we can use that to do our cutouts in our fixture. Just gonna, instead of having to draw everyone up each time. So next we need to have this distance L, 5.65. So that's how much it's off center to make sure it's clamping correctly. So I'm going to open up my fixture, and we need to draw the lines to place the DXFs. So I'm going to make bottom active, and then I need to set my Z height to the top here. So I'm going to do line perpendicular. I want to clamp from the outside, so I'm going to create line perpendicular to that edge. And then we're going to set the length to 5.65 mm. So there's one. I'm going to add another one. Oh, okay, that's why there's no midpoint. I'm going to recycle my value, come to the other side, coming out this direction, recycle my value, select my edge, I'm going to recycle the value, and so now we can place our DXF of the clamp cutout. So we can do this a couple ways. I'm going to do it the traditional way first. And so I'm going to file, and we'll come in, we'll merge, and I'm going to use this cutout, and it flipped everything over somewhere in the middle of there. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go to transparent. I can see my DXF, and I want to just dynamically move it. So I'm going to find the center point, make sure I'm in 3D. I can go move it up. I'll hit escape real quick. An easier way to do this. I'm going to grab the gray ball, place it, and then I need to line it up so that this little rectangle is pointing out. The clamps have a little angled hex key, so I added that little rectangle for a cutout to get clearance in there. So I didn't show it, but you know, that's what my plan was. So let me get this lined up to how I want. Get lined up to that line, and I'm going to rotate that so that my cutout is to the outside. All right, one down. So there's another way to merge this stuff in. So I'm going to hold Control, drag, drop, and that's just like merging in a part. So we'll do dynamic, drop it off the center, grab the gray ball, place it to where we want. I'm going to now line it up. No, there we go. Rotate it to correct orientation. 2 down. So we're done with the dynamic. We're done with this merge. I will go back to my folder. Control, hold, left click, drag. We're merging, and I'll place my bottom. No, that's not the one. My little view cube here, and now I'm looking the way I want to. I'll place it. We'll line it up, rotate it as needed. 3 down, 1 to go. All right, again, I'm going to come down to my folder, Control, hold, drag, drop. We're merging. I'm going to just go directly at the top plane this time. Dynamic. We'll drag, drop it off where we need to. I'm gonna line it up. Let me just, I don't know, try it this way. Zoom in. and I lined it up how I wanted to. Now I'll rotate, place it as needed. Awesome. I now have my DXF set up to where I can cut out for the clamps. Will fit and looking good. So now we'll be able to merge in our clamps. We have all of our depth set. Wait, we need to make sure we have a cutout. Sorry, got ahead of myself. So we have our values of how deep we need to do a cutout for each part of the clamp. So I'm going to do the simple bodies first. Select each one. We'll chain them. And I'm going to flip the direction. I want that to go down to the bottom. And from there I'm going to add the 25 millimeter. And I want to make sure that we're cutting the body. Alright, next I'm going to do the simple through holes because they're easy. And voila, nice and through each. Alright, so next I'm going to, let's see how deep do we need to go. I'm going to do the flange, which is this N value, and so looking at 2325 millimeter. So we need to make sure that we extrude those flange pieces down. So I'll chain for the flange section. Last one. So I want to take that to the bottom of the pocket, and then we'll add our 5 millimeter. Awesome. Next, I want to do the little cutouts for the hex keys. So I'll chain the little rectangles that I drew. And we'll take them down just to the bottom of the pockets. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead. That looks good to me. And I'm going to hide out this wireframe real quick. Let me save this. It's going to ask me to save as. I'm going to say yes, replace. Anytime you merge something in, it's going to ask you to, because you might want to save it as a different copy. So I want to separate that. So let me go ahead and I'm going to move the wireframe to its own level. Awesome. So we have our fixture done so far. We just need to add the clamps. So we'll do merge. I have my Mighty Byte assembly. Bring it in and follow. Hold on, let me try this again. So I'm going to go File, Merge, and I'm going to navigate to the correct assembly that has all the supporting solids. Sorry about that. Shoot. So it brought it in. It's kind of in the middle there, so we're going to do a dynamic. I'm going to base it off the top center of the flange. I want to line that up to the clamp. So I'm doing alignment to get Z lined up. Now everything's going to match, and then I'm going to rotate the part to line up to my Z for the fixture. We'll drag this over into position. So I'm going to put it based on the center. And now I need to line up so that that flat is onto the clamp, or onto the leg itself, sorry. So I will line it up. And I'm going to find the midpoint. And voila. So now we have it placed in position, matches up with the pocket. And so we're done with the dynamic, done with one merge. And I can make sure that it all looks good. So coming in, looking like I got the stuff lined up fairly well. Clamp looks like it would actually be clamping. Now we just need to do the rest. So I'm going to Control hold, left click, drop it off, and repeat. So we'll do dynamic. Top center flange, align it. So we'll line that up. Go into moving, get it back into the orientation I want it to be. Click on the gray ball, place it in position. Now I need to line it up, get a little different. Top view, and I need to rotate my clamp. And that's not going to work. Let's rotate that 180. Awesome. We have two more. Why didn't I mirror them? Well, the part's not symmetrical, so it wouldn't have mirrored. So here's our next one. Line it up based off the top. Get our gnomon oriented. Start moving the part to the orientation we want it. Yes, I know I can type the numbers in, but I like playing with the dial. Don't judge me. Alright, so I'm going to place it in the center. Need to get it lined up. He's placed. We have one more to do. Control hold, left click drag. We're merging. Go into my dynamic. Get the gnomons oriented how I want. Get the clamp body oriented how I want. Give me that 270. There we go. Drop him off in position. And now we need to rotate him around. Come on. Give me... I'll have to force that midpoint. Come on. And we'll rotate around. So now we have our fixture in place. Everything's looking good. Looks like it'll line up. Let me clean up some of these levels. And I'll make sure this is saved so I can come back in case anything changes. Yes, we'll replace.